Hi, folks. Today we're going to take a look at a live stream that the First Amendment Protection Agency did on a call-in radio show. Before we start today's video, a big thank you to all of my current and new channel members and subscribers. Without all your support, I couldn't keep the channel going, so I want to thank you all personally from the bottom of my heart. And a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Aura. With everyone online more and more, you need to keep your personal information safe. This is where Aura can help. Aura is an online security for your personal information and your data. Aura offers peace of mind with 24-hour data monitoring. They also remove your data from data brokers, provide 24-hour credit monitoring. They remove your information off the dark web. Aura even makes sure data thieves can't get your data. And they are out there trying to find it.
And I'll find you.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
Won't.
Aura is offering you a free 2-week trial by clicking my link, aura.com/NCR, and you can cancel at any time. That's aura.com/NCR, or scan the QR code on the screen, or click the link in the description box. Thank you to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to click the link in the description box and sign up for your 2-week free trial. Not only is it a big help for me, but it's a big help to keep your personal data safe. With all that being said, let's enjoy today's video.
And businesses in here in North Central Mass, and at first I was thinking, oh, this young man just a rabble rouser out there, creating content and that sort of thing, upsetting things a little bit, which is entertainment certainly too, and we all enjoy that. But as I watched and as my son watched, we learned
the ice cream server.
Yeah, but we realized, oh, there's more to it than this. And while it is entertaining, seems to be a service being provided here from him. And without further ado, we'll let Johnny, and again, we're very happy he came in because he's heading back again, I think later today. So Johnny, take it away. Welcome to the K-Zone.
Well, again, thank you, Phil. Thank you very much. You as well, Noah. Thank you guys for having me on today. So yeah, absolutely. I am here to provide a service. I do what I do for very specific reasons. And, the main goal here is to bring some awareness to the level of unawareness that we have in this country today.
Now, I'm going to have to disagree with the host and what FAPA just said. Now, the host said that he is providing a service, and FAPA said he is as well. But he's not really providing any real service when it comes to exercising our rights when it comes to the First Amendment, because we exercise them every day when we post something on social media, when we sing outside while we're walking or exercising, when we're doing something, expressing ourselves, we are using our First Amendment rights. When we redress our government at a city council meeting, we are exercising our rights to use the First Amendment. He is nothing more than a harasser and an annoyer to people. That's my personal opinion, and from what I've seen in all of his videos. He's not really doing anything. He's not providing any service, and he's not explaining anything. All he does is cause a scene at locations where people do have some reasonable expectation of privacy on private property and private businesses. Mostly he's been going to dispensaries to harass people there because he knows he can get a good response and put it up on YouTube and get the clicks and views that he needs for his videos.
A lot of people are walking around this great country, it seems as though with their eyes closed and their ears closed, and want to talk more than they're listening, and don't really know what they're doing or talking about, or the rights that they have walking around today.
Absolutely. What that badge of American citizen means. They don't value it as much anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Right, and it's unfortunate that a lot of these people that go against what I do, they
Sure.
subsequently fighting for less rights.
I think some people, right. I think some people look at it and they look at content like that and some people find it slightly annoying.
Well,
because and let me just, because I have a greater point here. It's like some people look at it and they're like, so like my grandfather. If you looked at it, he comes from a different era, and where your rights really were protected more so. And so some of those folks look at it and they go, oh, why are you harassing the cops? Why are you harassing the cops? Why are you doing that? So what's your response when you come across those people who are like from a different era? They don't really, like you said, they've kind of, they're mostly like the boomer generation. They grew up with the most opulence ever. They had to worry about almost nothing, and so they see a kid out there doing his thing, sort of antagonizing, from their view, antagonizing police.
And we're going to have to disagree here because it's not just their point of view, it's a lot of people's point of view who watch the Frauditor videos. We see them constantly harassing the police. They do it because they know we'll get them attention on YouTube. They know we'll get clicks and views. And to say that they're not harassing the police is just out and out wrong, because there are tons of videos. For example, look at Fake Mike Real News and Auditing America. Every time they see the police, they try to play what's the Third Amendment. And when the police refuse to answer them or don't play along with them, they say they're tyrants, that they're ashamed, and they're doing the walk of shame when they walk away. You know, it's one thing to redress your government, but just to harass them is just a totally different thing. And we've seen a lot of fraudsters now paying the consequences for that. Look at Craig Henry, look at Lane Myers. Fraudsters need to learn that harassing the police for YouTube videos is not going to end well in the long run.
They find it annoying. What do you say to people who have that view of what you do?
Well, you know, I'll tell you what a successful day looks like for me. I stand on the sidewalk, on the public right of way, and sometimes in public buildings. And a successful day would look like to me, nobody comes up to me. I stand there. I'm exercising my rights, trying to bring awareness to the rights that we have. People come up, they offer me water. You know, we have nice conversations. Sometimes nobody talks to me at all. Sometimes
you stand there with a sign or something?
No sign, just my cell phone with my tripod and my microphone set up that I got attached to the whole thing.
Yeah. So you just are an American citizen and you're enjoying the public spaces that your tax dollars provide you.
Absolutely. And you know, if that's all that comes of it, that's all that comes of it. And
yes, really enjoying those public spaces our tax dollars pay for, like city parks, or health departments, or WIC offices, or in Johnny's case here, the side of the road next to the bank, or next to a street sign outside the dispensary. I mean, really, if that's the argument he wants to make, that he's just out there enjoying what our tax dollars are paying for, and it's the side of the road, what entertainment value is that? The real reason he's doing it is because he knows if he goes onto the property, he would get trespassed. And if he refused to leave, he would be arrested. Auditors know this. That's why the bank auditors are staying to the side of the roads like he is. It's one thing to, do an actual story and film a bank for your story, but just to do it, to put it up on YouTube for clicks and views, really doesn't show anything that you have a lot of time on your hands that you could be used to, maybe better educate yourself or come up with a new hobby.
I'll stand there for an hour at a time, and on a good day, I would say I'll get a few looks, a few hellos, and a few goodbyes, and nobody comes up and has a problem with me. So that's what a successful day looks like for me. And not so much an unsuccessful day, but an eventful day, I would say. Some people come up and ask some questions, ask what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And if you come up to me with some respect and have a normal attitude, I always give the same answer. I tell them what I'm doing. I tell them that I'm exercising our First Amendment right to the freedom of press in public. And I'm here to see how people respect our rights in public and see if the public and or public officials know our rights and want to respect those in the public as well.
Shenanigans.
Na.
Shenanigans.
Na.
And we're calling shenanigans, folks, because we've seen a lot of FAPA's videos. We've never really seen him be that respectful. Maybe a handful of times, but not all the time. And he's lying about an uneventful day being good for him and an eventful day of somebody yelling at him or trying to assault him or fight with him being a bad day. Because he knows if he uploads a video of a boring day of people just being nice and polite to him, he's not going to get the views that he wants. But if he gets a video of somebody trying to fight with him or causing a confrontation or arguing with him, he knows he gets a better video. He uses that footage in his thumbnails. He uses it to help market his videos because a confrontation draws more clicks and views. Somebody just standing there and waving and saying hi to him, it's not going to get the same response. He needs a negative response to get the clicks and views that he wants for his channel, because that's what it's truly about. If it was about being a true journalist, he wouldn't have ducked the questions I've asked him on Frauditor Troll's live stream.
Talk about some of the negative interactions that you have. I understand you were in our area in Ayer, and there was a gentleman who approached you, and I'll let you tell the story, obviously, in finer detail, but there was a gentleman, a large gentleman, who approached you, and he chased you around a snowbank, and you pepper sprayed him.
Right. Yeah, obviously the bad reactions can range all the way up to that, from starting to, what are you doing here? It can be as easy as that, or it can be as hard as,
Long hair,
Right. I get a whole lot of that, and that's to be expected, honestly. To be expected, whether or not I'd just be sitting there standing on the sidewalk. People are probably going to come up to you and say, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I'm holding a phone or not. But it can range all the way up to, people coming up to me and trying to attack me. I, like you said, talking about that dude in Ayer, he traveled around a snowbank, walked about probably 60, 70 yards to come up to me and accost me and yell at me. And, I had to pepper spray him because he was coming up. He tried to grab my camera. He tried to swing at me. Yep.
Now we really need to address the elephant in the room here, because you're leaving out crucial information, like the fact that you insulted him and provoked him into an argument. Then you already had your pepper spray out premeditatedly. We've seen the video that Lucy Lair put out where she showed you having the pepper spray already in your hand before he got near you, before he even got out of his car. So that argument you're making that this guy, you tried to defend yourself because he was coming at you, you're leaving out crucial information that is out there that people know about.
And, I pepper sprayed him. The police arrived. They would not look at my video, didn't want to see it. Pretty much just came up to me, asked me what I was doing, didn't talk to the caller, went on purely speculation and just their story, and made an arrest and said once the cuffs were on, it was too late to take them off.
You're lying!
And for the record,
hold
Johnny.
on. That's what they said?
Yes.
They said once the cuffs were on, it's too late to take them off.
Well, they didn't say once the cuffs were on, but once the cuffs were on and I offered to show them the video, they said, either way, I saw it. Yeah, we kind of see what you're talking about, but it's too late. As I was sitting in the back of the car.
Now, to set the scene a little further here, Johnny, this was in front of a cannabis dispensary, or am I mistaken, or was it a public administration building? What was the
correct?
The
It was a dispensary.
It was a dispensary. Okay,
dispensary.
where people maybe they're assuming they're going in there under the guise of anonymity, but it's interesting, and this is really an education to them, I think, because these stores have cameras. Okay, most of the light poles and public spaces have cameras everywhere now.
Absolutely.
Yes, there are more and more cameras out there these days. People have GoPros. The police have body cams. People actually are wearing body cams themselves so when they go out walking. Cars have dash cams. There are cars with built-in dash cams all around them. There's surveillance cameras to protect stores and people's property. There's Ring doorbells. You could go on forever with the amount of cameras out there. But the issue is not the amount of cameras or the fact that they're there. It's the purpose of the cameras and what they're being used for. And that's the one thing frauditors never really understand when people get upset about this. It's the purpose of their videos, the purpose of why they're recording. It's not what they're telling them.
Okay, recording constantly, which is, again, I think people must be so, like you say, just walking around, just sometimes zombified, that they seem to forget that they're being recorded. As it is.
There are
dash
cameras.
Cams too going by. So here you are, out on a sidewalk with a single, tripod and phone setup, and that seems to be the hair across the camel's back here. It's just it's when it all just comes loose and people go crazy. It's the linchpin here. I guess it's the final thing, and I wonder if some of their angst and anger and their reaction is based on just that buildup. That tension of being already under constant surveillance, and you just remind them there, no, this is the natural state of things now.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And this wasn't always like it in this country, We were, when Chef and I grew up, There are no
Yeah.
cameras anywhere, man.
Not like this.
Of course, we got away with a lot, but I
We
mean,
did.
you know, much to our advantage. But it was a different world. This is a new world, and again, it is a strictly monitored world. I mean, we are under, you know, observation, and it's ironic that you receive the backlash. You know,
It's amazing. It really is amazing. You know, a lot of people that walk into these cannabis dispensaries, like we're talking about here, they're walking in with their IDs out in their hand and you know, faces uncovered, ready to walk into the building with about 30 to 40 cameras in it, hand over their ID for it to be scanned and put into the state's database for who's buying cannabis and not.
Yeah.
So it
The
really
guy
is
who
an
attacked
interesting.
you, he was
Yes, people are going into dispensaries and they have to scan their IDs and they have to scan their medical marijuana cards to get products from them. And those people are well aware that they are being filmed in those buildings. But they have to do it. If not, they're in violation of state guidelines and their dispensaries can be shut down. Not to mention, the dispensaries aren't live streaming their footage on YouTube. They're not putting it out there trying to shame people who are going in there to buy from their dispensary. The difference is a surveillance camera in a government building or in a dispensary or any store serves a purpose. Your camera phone doesn't really serve a purpose other than for you. It serves a purpose to provide you with content so you can put it on YouTube or TikTok or whatever and try to get money from it. The surveillance footage that you see in a dispensary is only there to provide protection for the staff and security.
a customer.
Yes, he was a customer.
not a
He'd
very
be a little
no-
more docile.
not a very mellow fellow. Huh?
Yeah, I think it was before he went into the
I
store.
see. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why he
yeah.
needs to go there. You know.
Right.
But it's, you know, all of your work, Johnny, I think it's predicated upon, like you say, the reactions or the negative reactions of the people who, more often than not, happen into your camera range on their own, approach you. We just had something go down about a week or so ago, and I know you might have been out of the area, but there was a concert at Gillette Stadium, and of course you heard about it, and the Kiss Cam was going around, and ultimately it happened to catch two people committing, well, I don't want to call it adultery, but acting very
Something like
suspicious with people who were not their spouses anyway.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
You know, they go into that, and I don't think they have the expectation that you know, there's privacy. And what's more, had they not reacted like that, being so evasive, you know, the camera would have gone by them likely, and nothing would have been, you know, made of this. And I think the same thing kind of applies to what you're doing right now too.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong.
Absolutely, without question. You know, and as a matter of fact, I looked at some of the statements that that guy put out online and said how he never asked to be put on the camera and never asked to be put on the jumbotron, and nobody had his permission to become famous or anything like that. And you know, like the situations that you're talking about with that I deal with, I would say that you are absolutely correct. If he didn't act and react the way he did, he simply would not have been as famous as he was. Maybe a few people might have seen him up on the screen and recognized him out of chance, but
Not
it was
on
a
this
very,
grand
very
scale.
no. Unfortunately for that dude, I think his face and reaction and situation will be on the internet for quite some time.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's 7:57.
5 minutes later.
Before we continue, for the sake of transparency, I did remove out a large part where somebody did call in to ask FAPA a question. The question couldn't be heard even with the volume at the highest point without hurting people's eardrums, and it was still unintelligible. So we're going to go into his answer right now.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for being an FAPA fan. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for watching all the time. You know, it's a good question, and the answer is it doesn't matter what you're doing in this world. Somebody is going to find it offensive. Somebody is going to find it annoying. And if people's rights simply disappeared and ceased to exist when people found what you were doing annoying or aggravating, nobody would have any rights whatsoever. And what I do is I do provide a service, and like I said before, I'm here to bring awareness to some of the unawareness that we have in this country, and you know, show people that the same device that they have in their pocket very same phone. I walk around with a telephone. I don't walk around with a big news camera, a big microphone, boom microphone set up, making myself this huge thing. 99.9% of people have the same exact device in their pocket. And let me tell you something, if it was illegal to use a camera in public, they would not put one on the back of every telephone produced in the world today, in America today.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So, right, and it's funny where I don't understand where the sense of grandeur comes from these people. To be quite honest, you know, they are assuming that first that I am recording specifically them. A lot of the people think it's specifically them. I could be taking a picture of the clouds behind them or the sunset behind them, and to think that that would be illegal for me to stand on the sidewalk and take a picture or a video, a still video of a sun setting behind a nice building or the clouds in the sky, and for somebody to think that's illegal and a cop should come up behind me and tackle me to the ground, or somebody should be able to just go and make a citizen's arrest or, you know, justify an attack on me, that's a crazy notion right there.
Now, there was a jump cut that I took out of some dead air from that same caller asking him another question that we couldn't hear, but we just heard his answer. And I want to address his answer because that's not what you're doing. You're not filming people, you know, walking in the background of you filming a sunset or the sky because your camera's not pointed up at the sky. It's not pointed at a sunset. You're pointed at a dispensary or a bank, or you're going into a health department or a post office trying to get a reaction from people. That is the whole point of First Amendment frauditors. They are not actually trying to do anything. I always get asked this question, well, you hate frauditors so much, are there any auditors that you like? And yeah, there is one I always recommend, and it's Ironton Auditor. Because the way he interacted with government employees and people on the street, it was totally different than what you see a frauditor does. A frauditor makes it about them. Ironton Auditor made all of his videos about the story. Not only that, he had the praise of the police when he was doing his cop watching, that they would actually come to him and tell him what they did. There have been many occasions on his live streams of him, you know, giving people rides that got pulled over by the cops or helping people out. That's a true auditor, in my opinion.
You're from Somerville, South Carolina? I used to live there when I was a kid. My parents were in the Army and we bopped around a lot. One of the places we lived in was Somerville, South Carolina.
Oh, that's wild.
No kidding. All right. Well, Bob, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it, and thank you for showing your support here. All right.
Absolutely. Thanks for
Bob.
being an FAPA fan, Bob.
Very fun. All right. Cool. That was Bob. So we mentioned we understand what you do now. You go around and you try to, I don't even know. You kind of just exist in an area and see how long you can stand there until somebody bothers you.
Well,
pretty much the idea, Johnny?
Well, like I said before, a successful day looks like for me if I stand there and everybody has the utmost respect for me, and I've been approached numerous times, whether it be good or bad. I love to show the good interactions just as much as I have to show the bad interactions, whether it
Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Thank you.
be from the public or the police. So, you know, a successful day would look like for me just being respected, you know, I mean, just as anybody would be, just walking around and taking pictures as they are allotted to in this, you know, allowed to be doing in this country.
So what explicitly is your stated goal?
Well, my stated goal,
in the simplest terms possible.
I bring awareness to the fact that some people are willing to push whatever they feel is their agenda, and it just depends in their own mind. They are justified in just using as loud of a voice as they can and putting on as scary of a face as they can to either try to intimidate or, use the loudest voice in the room tactic to be the rightest one in the room, so to say. And it's kind of confusing, honestly. It really is.
It's funny because he just described a lot of frauditor tactics. They act as if they know the law when they really don't. They try to push their agenda by being the loudest in the room and threatening people with lawsuits. And let's not forget, a lot of them don't like to show their faces. I mean, look at Impact Media. All of them wear masks. Hell, you had one of them dressed up like a broke cosplay of a G.I. Joe figure. I mean, if you see a person in body armor and holding a camera with a full face mask, calling himself Shockwave, you're going to feel a bit intimidated. You're going to feel a bit concerned. Not to mention, you're not helping anybody with their First Amendment. You're not explaining to them what you're doing and why you're doing it. You're just telling them that you're recording for your own First Amendment rights and to hell with theirs. I mean, don't deny it. We've seen frauditors say that. We've heard frauditors say that, and we've seen you act in a similar manner.
You from doing what?
To stop me from just,
stress testing.
Stress testing, yeah. That is the word and the phrase that I commonly use. But in all reality, it is the very first right that we have on the Bill of Rights. It's the very, very First Amendment. And for somebody to tell me that, first of all, a lot of these people aren't working with a full deck of cards. I will say that. I understand a lot of Americans today are pretty uneducated. I deal with a lot of them, and 95% of them, 99% of which could not tell me what the 5 elements of the First Amendment are, and I don't expect that of a lot of people.
The fuck are you talking about? The fuck are you talking about?
But for somebody to tell me that I can't record in public it should be construed in the same sentence. Then why would you be able to have the same exact right to be able to talk to me in public? It's under the same First Amendment, freedom of speech.
So you label it under freedom of being able to record somebody. You label under freedom of speech.
Well, that's freedom of the press.
Freedom of the press.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and expression.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, I guess in a sense, what you said a successful day is when nobody bothers you, but how is that a successful day? Because then you haven't pushed any boundaries, really. You haven't gotten to show what it is that you're fighting against.
Well, that's, I mean, if you being in the entertainment industry, you would understand that, a normal conversation with these headphones on, just hey, how you doing today? What did you have for breakfast yesterday? Nobody's going to tune in and listen to that.
Right.
Looks like the tiger caught its tail here because, you're stumbling and staggering around that question a bit. But we all know the true purpose here because you've just admitted you're doing this for entertainment value because a bad reaction is more entertaining to your viewers. Because a boring reaction like you're explaining here isn't going to get the views you want. So the real question is, are you really doing this for entertainment purposes, or are you trying to do this for the stress testing of the First Amendment, which I highly doubt you are, because a lot of people every day, like I said before, express themselves by posting stuff online and exercising their freedom of speech.
So uneventful is not the same as successful, obviously. But I will say that, having the interaction and seeing the differences in how people react, I have plenty of videos where business owners, people come up to me, they, come and high five me, want to take pictures, give me free shirts, stuff like that, tickets to concerts and boxing events and stuff like that. Right, exactly. And
I find it hard to believe any of that stuff actually happened. While yes, we have seen you get bottles of water from people, but we've never seen people hand you concert tickets or t-shirts or, free boxing tickets. Now, if that has happened and you have those videos, why not release them? Show people how people are supporting you. I mean, if that's the truth, I would have shown it many a times, but yet you've never shown it. Because I don't think that footage actually exists.
That's a beautiful time for me. That's a successful.
And success is when people know their rights and your rights and don't confront you because they know this is our constitutionally guaranteed, God-given right.
God-given, constitutionally protected.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And in order to obtain those rights, we had to use an unfathomable amount of violence.
Yeah.
To get there.
Well,
and so how horrible would it be if we
had to do the same to
if we
keep and
relaxed
protect?
if we relaxed ourselves too much as Americans and let those fall away.
Absolutely.
We woke up one day where we were in a situation where we had to use that same amount of energy to reclaim them.
And this is
Johnny's
exactly
camera comes in better than a gun or something like that.
Absolutely. It's the third party that sees all and never gets deleted, never gets edited. And
why must you turn my office into a house of lies?
Exactly as you said, your rights, and this is where my phrase comes in, your rights are like muscles. If you don't exercise them, you lose them.
There you go.
So,
I know that firsthand, Phil.
Yeah, we've been working out.
I lost some muscles over the past
well, you got to come and work out with me, Phil.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting him back into it, Johnny.
All right.
I worked out every day this week.
I'm psyched, man.
That's awesome.
So, John, I want to go back to something we mentioned earlier. We were talking about it off the air. I hope you're comfortable talking about it on the air. In air, you were arrested. There was a not so gentlemanly gentleman who assaulted you. He came up to you. He tried to take your phone out of your hand. He swung at you, tried to hit you, and so you pepper sprayed him.
Yes, sir.
You defended yourself.
Yes,
and police got involved, as they do when there's something like that happens in the public.
Understandably so.
And they arrested you. Did anything happen to him?
Not that I know of. I did file charges afterwards for the same thing, and I was told by another judge, a magistrate or a clerk magistrate, that I was out filming, so it was justified. He said it was a quash, basically. That was basically were his pretty much exact words. Since I was filming and aggravating him, so to say, he was very well justified, very well and good to.
But you did try to provoke a response from him, and you got the response you wanted. Because before he came at you, he was in his truck, and he was getting ready to pull away. You did make comments to him. You did insult him. He insulted you. You both did that, and it should have been the end of it there. But you kept pushing it. Not to mention, you did insult several other people there at that dispensary in that video. You provoked a confrontation. That's why you were arrested, because you pepper sprayed the man from a confrontation you provoked. Now, Johnny here is going to try to change the narrative as if he was the victim and there was some kind of big conspiracy by the courts to silence him. So let's take a listen to that.
Come up to me and accost me and swing at me.
So your passive action, he's the judge, a
clerk magistrate.
You're a court magistrate.
Yep.
Is saying your passive action is what warranted this man's aggression.
Yep, absolutely. Just the simple exercise.
And you were backing up during the course of this. You were trying to avoid confrontation. It was the situation was a snowy, slushy sidewalk and road as well. So there's a bit of a danger there in you backing up.
Absolutely.
And then you're dealing with it in court right now, right?
Right.
Do you mind sharing some of what you shared with me off air?
Yeah. So
what the guy mentioned to you about the months and everything?
100%. It was probably about six or 7 months ago at this point. I had my court date, and there was a lot of procedural errors. Lack of signatures on my arrest papers, and they had double jeopardy charges for 2 different things. They're trying to charge me 2 different counts for the same exact action. So multiple procedural and multiple material errors in that. And so I told him that I wasn't even going to plead. I was not going to plead guilty or not guilty until the charges were fixed. And then they pushed the court date a month. They didn't change anything. They dropped one of the charges, bringing it down to 2 different charges, which were assault and battery on somebody over 60 and disorderly conduct. Assault and battery over 60 is actually a felony. It's a felony, so it's a serious, very, very serious thing that I have to deal with. But yeah, so after that, I told them again, still material and procedural errors and defects. So
did you have a lawyer look that over with you?
no, sir.
No.
No, sir. Nope. Everything I do is self-taught. I do it all by myself. I have a great team of people around me, great network
And
of
they
people
didn't
around
deny
me.
that.
Now, I have to call some bullshit here because you're not a lawyer, so how would you know there were clerical or factual errors on the documents? I mean, some of them could be obvious, like a signature not being placed on the arrest warrant or something like that, and that could be easily fixed and addressed. But you're not a lawyer, so how would you know a lot of this stuff? Are you basing this off the information you got from Chile and his trifold? Because we know that trifold don't work. I mean, if you're getting your legal advice from Chile, your best bet is to stop dealing with that and talk to a brick wall, because the brick wall would give you actually better legal advice than he would. Now, you're trying to say that they were trying to railroad you when that's not the case. We all saw that video. But you did assault and batter that gentleman. And just because they dropped the one charge and you still have the felony charge of assault and battery on a person 65 or older and the disorderly conduct charges to deal with, it doesn't mean the court was wrong in its way of handling it. If there were some clerical errors, those could be addressed as long as double jeopardy hasn't applied. And seeing as double jeopardy charges can't be applied here, because you would have to be first convicted and charged with those things for double jeopardy to apply here.
They made procedural errors.
Well, they didn't confirm or deny it,
Right.
and you know.
Right. Sure.
Right. So, but yeah. So after that, they told me that my court date was then pushed 6 months instead of 1 month down the road. It was pushed 6 months down the road, and they put me under a subsequent gag order and told me, don't release any of this guy's personal information. Don't release any of his information. I mean, they know what I do. They're trying to put a strain on what I do, and as far as me putting out my content the same way I do usually, and
Shenanigans.
No.
Shenanigans.
No.
And we're calling shenanigans yet again because you're lying yet again. See, you're leaving out crucial information to these radio hosts. Because if they didn't see that live stream you did after your court case, well, your court date, I should say, you told people that you were going to get his personal information, put it out there, and have your followers call and harass him to get him to drop the charges. Oh yeah, that video's out there. People have covered it. It still exists. Like they say, once you put it on the internet, it's out there forever. But you're trying to make it seem like you're the victim, like they tried to hide something. You don't know if there were any procedural errors because you're making it up. You're not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't say, looking at a court document, if it's correct or not. I would have a lawyer look at it. But for you to say that the court tried to silence your First Amendment right because you threatened to have your followers harass a 65-plus-year-old man, that's just stupid.
they told me not to talk about it, and in 6 months that they would drop the charges, it would go away, it wouldn't go on my record, and yeah, it's
So
insane.
They said basically, if you just shut up and don't expose any of this, we'll drop everything.
For a lack of a better term,
Is
absolutely.
that not
Dramatization may not have happened.
mafia-like behavior? Is that not? I mean, how corrupt is that?
We're seeing this again and again. We see it in Norfolk County
We were
with a
dealing
whole
with
bunch
it-
of
we
cases.
just spoke with Izzy
Yeah,
Rivera and the Rivera family.
Yeah, here in
And-
Fitchburg in that
And
situation.
they dealt with similar procedural issues.
Yeah, and again, yeah, that's the price we seem to have to pay for standing up for ourselves or our rights, and it seems to be the case. It is a fight. It is, and there is, again, it's a tension, and we need to be strong, and we need to bring voices to these situations, and it's really amazing. In fact, the local police, I did speak to a local police chief off air and in a hallway somewhere, but he's training they're training their department to be aware of, First Amendment issues and the situations where they might be stress tests. So that is something that is happening in some places, but not in every place. Friday in Hartford, Connecticut, there is another man, another brethren, another someone in your world, Johnny, is there not? Who's dealing with some things in Connecticut right now?
Yeah, in Groton, man.
Yeah.
You know, Long Island Audit. You know, feel free to reach out if you ever
Groton,
listen.
Connecticut, not
Yeah,
Groton, Massachusetts.
Groton, Connecticut. Sorry.
No.
That's all right. No, I'm just clarifying for.
Now, I'm not criticizing these radio personalities on their lack of information, but it's crucial that they get all the facts before they run with something like this, because we all know what's going on with LIA. If you're not, I'll catch you up with a brief synopsis. LIA went to Sergeant Brian Fahey's house earlier this month and decided to try to interview him about his overtime. Sergeant Fahey told him to get off his property. Sean took his sweet-ass time to get off of there, and Sergeant Fahey came out with the firearm while on the phone with 911. He did get into an altercation with Sean where he spit on him, and that was wrong for spitting on him. But Sean was wrong for trespassing onto his property, knowing that he has a prior history with Sergeant Brian Fahey that would cause this incident to escalate. Now, it's one thing to try to say that auditors are not causing these confrontations in these situations, but it's another thing to present the information as if they're just being harassed by the police and by everybody else on the street just for holding up a camera. It's not the issue. The issue is they're crossing lines and pushing the point of what can be a simple argument into arrests and to court cases that's going to cost them.
For the local audience.
Yeah, crazy situation, man. And like you said, you know, it's really unfortunate that these police officers, the chief has to sit his officers down and teach people about the very First Amendment, you know, our very first set of rights, when they swore an oath to uphold people's constitutional rights and protect people's constitutional rights. So for the police chief to have to sit everybody down and say, hey, listen, there are going to be people standing on the sidewalk with their telephone. Don't arrest them. You kid, that's not illegal. That's crazy. That's crazy. And today,
well, he's fairly intelligent. He's full of shit.
Today's day and age, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
So, and just to be clear, Johnny, when the court said to you, you know, if you just shut up and you don't talk about any of this stuff, you don't really, we'll just drop everything in 6 months. You don't have to worry about it. Did you shut up and not release any of this stuff?
Yeah, no, none of his personal information is out there, and you know, I've stuck true to my word. Not that I'm out there to specifically put people's personal information out there, but when you interject yourself into a situation like that and you make it what that guy made it into that day, then I definitely will take those next actions. So 100%.
Now, one of the hosts just said it would be fair game for Johnny out there to dox the elderly gentleman in question from that incident. It's not fair game. It's not fair game to put out his name and phone number and then tell your followers to call and harass him like he did. He told his people to do that. That wouldn't be fair game. That would be bullying. That could also be considered witness tampering. To get him to retract his statement just because they got into an altercation. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I wouldn't speak on the possible legal ramifications of that, but morally, I feel that's wrong, and it doesn't constitute fair game. It counts more as harassment, in my opinion.
All right, Johnny. So what's next for you? Where are you headed after this?
Man, headed to the top. There's no place else but the top.
love
That's
that
it.
attitude,
That's
yeah.
it. Everywhere and
That's what the
anywhere,
Beatles
man.
always said.
Strap a rocket to his back. He is
That's it.
heading
That's what
to.
the Beatles always said when they were playing in Hamburg.
Absolutely.
And we're going to end it here, folks. The interview goes on for a few more minutes where they just make some banter back and forth, and FAPA decides to sit on the couch and wait for them to end so he can go to the gym with one of the guys. In honesty, this seems like they didn't do all of their research. They just saw somebody that could be a quick boost in their radio listeners, and, well, I think they should do more research into what this guy actually believes in and what other frauders believe in. So if you guys like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up and a comment because it helps with the algorithm. Don't forget to check out my second channel and the podcast. With all that being said, be well, be safe, and I will see you guys next time. And a special thank you to all members of the news team. Without all of your support, I couldn't keep the channel going. So I want to thank you all personally from the bottom of my heart. You guys mean the world to me, and I can never thank you enough for all the support and encouragement you guys give. You guys rock.